Good morning, and welcome to the JCC's annual Founders Celebration. My name is Barry Kantrowitz, and it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all and thank you for your continuing support of the JCC Rockland. This is our 32nd JCC Founders Celebration. No dinner this year. And I bet you never thought you'd miss schlepping out on a Sunday for yet another fundraiser. But boy, have times changed. I truly miss seeing all of you. I miss shaking your hands or giving you a kiss hello. I miss talking to you at the cocktail hour, sitting at a table and talking and laughing with friends. I miss the speeches. Okay, not so much the speeches, but I do hope that we will all be able to get together soon and celebrate just being together. I want to express my condolences to those of you who lost family or friends over the last 9 months. I specifically want to acknowledge the loss of Nina Iser, a community leader who always stood up for the JCC. I want, even if it's just for the next hour, to be a united community. Not Democrats or Republicans, conservatives or liberals, just JCC supporters, honoree supporters. So let's try and forget for this short time how COVID has turned our world upside down. And let's together honor some special people who deserve this recognition for what they have done to make our community better. Our theme for this year's celebration is Standing Up. What an appropriate theme at a time when our community and our country is struggling to find its way back to some level of normalcy. People are standing up. Our healthcare workers, first responders, teachers, parents, and of course the members, volunteers, and staff of our JCC. We have 4 outstanding honorees, Dr. Eddie Fisher, Evan Karshevsky, Brooke Malloy, and Rabbi Justin Schwartz. They each have stood up, whether for the JCC, the greater community, or social justice. Each of them makes a difference every day. And every day your JCC is standing up for the community. Every day, even now, more than 350 of our community members walk through our doors daily in a safe environment. We have 79 children between the ages of 6 weeks through kindergarten in our Deborah Koenig full-day early childhood center. Their parents can go to work with the confidence that their children are loved, learning, and thriving. We have 90-plus elementary school-age children who are doing their remote learning at your JCC, allowing their parents to go to work. This is a new program developed in under 60 days by JCC staff to meet a new need of our community. We had 60 seniors at the Chazen Senior Center who attended an outdoor socially distanced concert on the Lang patio. We have almost 200 members who come to exercise in the Russin Fitness and Wellness Center. Since reopening, there have been more than 10,000 check-ins to the fitness center, and fortunately, as a result of the enhanced protocols for cleaning and social distancing, there have been no reported COVID-19 cases. The JCC has conducted hundreds of virtual programs, classes, or just made check-in phone calls to those homebound. None of this would happen without our outstanding staff and management team who come to work every day with the goal of making people's lives better. We thank each and every one of them. As the JCC has continued standing up for and with the community, thankfully, the community continues to stand up for the JCC. In June, as the result of the disastrous financial impact of the pandemic, the JCC kicked off the Stand with the JCC fundraising campaign. The goal was to raise $180,000 from our existing donor base, with donations being above and beyond what our supporters give us each year, and to reach out and raise funds from new donors. The goal was to complete this campaign in 3 months. More than 300 donors supported this effort, and the JCC raised more than $195,000. So in typical Kirchtel fashion, the goal was raised to $218,000, and the campaign was extended to the end of December. We now have raised more than $210,000. It's great, but it's still not enough. We need everyone to participate. I had planned to speak to you today from an historic location outside the JCC, a place that demonstrates one example of how our community stood up, our memorial sculpture for the Munich 11 athletes. But it's 40 degrees outside, so for the benefit of Joe Allen's film crew, we moved inside. This sculpture was sponsored and dedicated by 3 JCC families, the Lang family, the Wagner family, and the Elkin family, all of whom have consistently stood up for the JCC and our community. The sculpture is dedicated to the memory of the 11 Israeli athletes who were massacred at the Olympics in 1972. And we stood up with Anki Spitzer and Alana Romano, honorary members of our community, whose husbands were killed in Munich. We stood up with them and took on the International Olympic Committee, demanding a minute of silence at the Olympics for the Munich 11. It took 50 years, But through standing up and standing together, progress towards a proper recognition is being made. On behalf of the JCC, I want to thank Gary Siepser, the CEO, and Steve Gold, the president, and the board of Jewish Federation and Foundation for their annual support and leadership. Now more than ever, I encourage everyone to support the annual campaign. A celebration like this could never happen without the support of our sponsors. Our overall event sponsors are Bonnie and Alan Elkin and Ellen and Arthur Wagner and Active International, as well as Linda and Larry Weiss and Atlantic Tomorrow's Office. Our corporate sponsors include Crown Plaza, Suffern Mawa and the Goldstein family, Mercedes-Benz of Nanuet and Rich Hess, our bankers, Orange Bank and Trust, who really have stood with us through the years, and Good Samaritan Hospital. Our honoree sponsors are Helene and Barry Lewis, Oppenheim and Deegan Neurological Surgeons, Valley Bank, and JCC Rockland. Our event chair is Gwen Rosenzweig. Gwen, the room looks beautiful. The Journal Committee was chaired by Paul Adler, Greg Karshevsky, Larry Weiss, and Adam Weiss. In a very difficult environment, with your help and support, we raised over $150,000. The virtual journal's success could not have been accomplished without the always outstanding effort of Elena Height, our Director of Donor Relations. Finally, I want to thank Jeff Deegan, JCC President, and David Kirschtel, CEO, for their leadership. Please welcome Rabbi Benjamin Scharf from the Reformed Temple of Rockland, who will present the invocation.
Thank you, and especially thank you to Dr. Eddie Fisher for inviting me to be here with you, and a huge mazel tov to all of the honorees. Today, we gather together virtually to celebrate the past, present, and the future of our beloved Jewish Community Center. We are especially grateful to the leaders, visionaries, and donors, those individuals who continue to both guide and support this bedrock of the Rockland community. The JCC is where we gather together as a collective community to strengthen our bodies, our minds, and our souls. It is where we welcome our children, our seniors, and everyone in between. It is where we can all celebrate together, and sadly, it has also been the home where we have collectively mourned as well. Yet through it all, the JCC's presence also helps us to demonstrate our resolve, a resolve for a strong, vibrant Jewish community. With this in mind, I would like to offer up the following prayer and invocation as we begin our virtual gathering. Rabbonu Shel Olam, Master of the Universe, as we gather together virtually to share in the vision of our beloved Jewish Community Center, may we know that from the power of our memory and history, with high hopes for the days that lie ahead, we gather to craft the destiny we share with one another. We gather with the collective wisdom of our shared experiences. We gather with hearts and minds open to the wisdom in every voice among us. We are especially grateful to those who continue to make all of this possible, especially to our honorees here today. May the work of their hands and the deeds of all of us continue to be for the betterment of us all. May the doors of the JCC continue to be wide enough to welcome all who seek a sense of Jewish community. And may we all be blessed in our individual and communal journeys this day and always. And to this, we can all say, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Scharf. Now each of our honorees will be introduced, and then you will hear from them. Please welcome Rifki Feiner, who will be introducing Evan Karshevsky, one of our JCC Founders Award recipients. The presenting sponsor is Valley Bank.
It is truly an honor and privilege to talk about my good friend Evan Karshevsky and why she is so deserving of the JCC Founders Award for always standing up for our community. Evan is a community activist, a heroine, and one of the outstanding honorees who has dedicated herself to the fight against anti-Semitism in Rockland County. Evan is a warrior and a fiercely passionate defender of the entire Jewish community. She gives of herself tirelessly and is the consummate guardian of our rights, honor, and dignity. Evan created the Facebook page Rockland is One when her daughters began facing instances of anti-Semitism in school and following the uptick of hate speech on local social media. She oversees Rockland as One with the purpose of uniting the Jewish and wider community of the county while disseminating active and constructive information on local issues. Evan got her start as a community leader after moving to Blauvelt with her husband Greg 2 decades ago to raise their 3 daughters, Skylar, Sage, and Sasha. When her daughters entered the South Orangetown Central School District, Evan became an active community member and got involved with the district's Parent-Teacher Association. What began with organizing school book fairs and dances eventually blossomed into her role as president of the South Orangetown Middle School PTA. During her 3 years as president, Evan became a strong advocate for both students and faculty and grew into a key member of the building leadership team. Evan strives on a daily basis to be a positive role model of a strong Jewish woman, mother, and community activist to her wonderful daughters, and of course she does this successfully. In addition to her social media activism, Evan is a JCC Rockland board member and the vice chair of the Community Relations Committee of the Jewish Federation and Foundation of Rockland County, which is where I've worked together with Evan closely for almost 4 years as a member of the committee. She's also involved in many other local nonprofits as well. Most recently, Evan has become involved with local and state politics and endeavors to continue her fight against anti-Semitism and hate. During the COVID lockdown, Evan saw the devastation around her and refused to just be a bystander. She took action and started the Orangetown Restaurants Facebook page with over 6,000 members to help support local small businesses and raised funds to help feed families in need in South Orangetown. She also recently helped found a new food pantry to feed the food insecure in the community. Our sages teach us a good name is better than the finest oil. Evan, you consistently strive to give all of us a good name and protect the entire Jewish community from some of the most reprehensible and vile attacks that are on social media today. And boy, are you ever successful. The word Evan in Hebrew means a stone, a rock. Evan, you are an incredible force to be reckoned with. You are an immovable stone. And to all of us here and across the community who fight the daily battle in the social media trenches, you are a true rock star.
Thank you, Rifki, and we appreciate all you do in building community. Please welcome my dear friends Linda and Larry Weiss, who will introduce their friend and a great friend of the JCC, Rabbi Justin Schwartz, who is also a Founders Award recipient. The presenting sponsors are Helene and Barry Lewis.
I would like to congratulate this year's JCC honorees. Dr. Eddie Fisher, receiving the Reuben Joseph Community Leadership Award, Evan Karshevsky, Founders Award, and Brooke Malloy, the J Spirit. I'd also like to thank them all for standing up for the community. Linda and I are here to recognize and congratulate Rabbi Justin Schwartz for receiving the Founders Award. You have all read in Justin's bio his incredible list of accomplishments and his dedication to civic duty. Justin has been called by some a superhero, a combination of Batman and Superman, all rolled into one rugula. He resembles Batman because he drives the Batmobile. With more flashing lights and sirens, something out of Star Wars that you have seen around the county. He patrols and makes his way around Rockland County faster than a speeding bullet, attending 3, 4, even 5 events in the same evening, all because Gary Foreman and Linda Weiss need their chocolate chip cookies and lamb chops. Only Superman can accomplish all of this in one evening. Justin is also a man with a beautiful family. He has lived in Rockland County for 55 years. He has been married to his beautiful wife, Madeline, for 45 years. They have 3 wonderful children and 9 fabulous grandchildren. With all that Justin does, he cherishes the time and makes the time to spend with his beautiful family. You know, when I hear the Beatles song, 8 Days a Week, I think of Justin. I think of Justin because this is a man who never says no to anybody. On behalf of the Weiss family and the Atlantic Tomorrow's Office family, there is no person who stands up more for the community than the rabbi. Congratulations to you, my good friend Justin Schwartz.
Hi, Justin. I just wanted to be here today to just wish you mazel tov on this well-deserved honor. You are an amazing man, and we are so proud of you and everything that you have done for this community. We love you, and God bless you and your beautiful family.
Thank you, Linda and Larry, and we appreciate all you do for the JCC. Please welcome Paul Adler, who is introducing Brooke Malloy, this year's J Award honoree. The J Award is presented to a nonprofit organization leader for their outstanding work in the community. The presenting sponsor is JCC Rockland.
Thank you, Barry. Good morning. Today I have the privilege of introducing Brooke Malloy. Many of you know Brooke Malloy as the founding executive director of the Rockland County Pride Center, others as a mother and wife, but I know her as a social justice advocate, a leader, an organizer, and a trainer. She is a member of the Rockland County Human Rights Commission, and in her efforts to stand up for the LGBTQ community in Rockland County, one of the first things that Brooke did was to reach out to the JCC, People to People, Volunteer Counseling Service, the Center for Safety and Change, and others, so that she could make certain that our entire community was integrated in the fight for human rights. To stand up means to defend against attack or criticism, exploitation, violence, and mental health. And in Brooke's efforts to stand up with the JCC, she has used her platform on the Human Rights Commission to stand up against anti-Semitism. She's done this in the mold of other great leaders in Rockland County in the fight for human and civil rights. Dr. Frances Pratt, Carolyn Fish, Harriet Cornell, Phyllis B. Frank, Natalie Couch, and Simona Chazen are all mentors that Brooke has looked to. Part of Brooke's commitment to the JCC has deeper personal meanings to her than just her work as the executive director of the Rockland County Pride Center. Earlier this year, Brooke Malloy became aware, woke if you will, about her maternal Jewish roots. And in that quest to find out more about her Judaism, Brooke has had a complete and committed tie to the JCC. Brooke is very unique and someone that Rockland County needs at this time because she stands up for what is right and stands up with people who stand up for what is right. And today, we are very proud that Brooke Malloy will receive the J Award from the JCC for her work in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, for your efforts on the Journal and for all you do in the community. And a special thank you for leading the efforts as JCC president more than 20 years ago to hire David Kirschtel as our CEO. Now please welcome Lainey Etkind, who will introduce Dr. Eddie Fisher, this year's recipient of the Reuben Josephs Community Leadership Award. Ruby, of blessed memory, was a legendary and inspirational community leader in Rockland and an early founder of the movement to create a Jewish community center here. The presenting sponsor is Oppenheim and Deegan Neurological Surgeons.
I feel extremely honored to have the privilege of introducing this year's winner of JCC Rockland's Reuben Josephs Community Leadership Award, Dr. Edward Fisher. I actually first met Eddie through the JCC. He was speaking about what else? Children's dental health to our JCC Mommy and Me group. My daughter, who is now 28, didn't even have her first tooth, but I knew then that Dr. Fisher would be her dentist. His warmth and kindness came through on day one. Of course, Eddie did become my children's dentist, which was fortunate for them and fortunate for me. To anyone who has spent time in Dr. Fisher's pediatric dental office, it was evident not only that he truly loved what he did, but also the pure joy he took in knowing every child who sat in his dentist's chair. Imagine all the beautiful smiles you see in Rockland County every day that Dr. Fisher can take credit for. Our paths cross again at United Hospice of Rockland, where I worked as Director of Development. Dr. Fisher became a fierce advocate, a generous donor, the driving force behind the UHR Golf Classic, and eventually President of the Board. Working together to further the hospice mission, we formed a unique bond and a strong friendship. I cannot pay tribute to Eddie without mentioning his late wife of 53 years, Rizelle. They had quite a love story. She faced many health challenges, and Eddie always made sure that Rizelle was well cared for, up until and including her final days at the Joe Rasso Hospice Residence. Together, they have 2 wonderful sons, Scott and Andrew, and 1 very adorable grandson, Maverick. And now Eddie has a new love in his life, Robin. We wish them a lifetime of happiness together. So why is the JCC presenting this award to Eddie? I would venture to say that there are probably only a handful of people living in Rockland County who have done as much for this community as Eddie has. I mentioned his lifelong work as a pediatric dentist and his involvement with United Hospice of Rockland, but these are just a tip of the iceberg. The local institutions that have benefited from his leadership, participation, and generosity number in the dozens. When I think of Eddie, one word comes to mind most often: mensch. Eddie is a mensch. He is kind, thoughtful, warm, and generous. Although I have never actually seen him do so, I do believe he is the type of guy who would give you the shirt right off his back. So please join me in wishing a hearty mazel tov to this year's winner of the Ruby Josephs Community Leadership Award, Dr. Eddie Fisher. Father, husband, grandfather, fiance, dentist, philanthropist, mensch, friend.
Thank you, Lainey. We miss you in the community as a true nonprofit leader, yourself and as a past honoree. Each of our honorees deserves today's recognition for the outstanding contribution they have made by standing up. And here they are.
People should get involved in the community, but not everybody gets involved in the same way. Everybody has a role, right? So there are people that will have like megaphones and stand in the front or be really loud. Some people help by investing in organizations that do good work, or they do it with their feet, or they volunteer. Everybody has a role. So people are really involved in their community. They just have to recognize where they are.
What motivated me to become involved is the precept of Tikkun Olam, making this a better world, giving something different, to make a difference, to be an upstander, as they called it, to give it to our future, to our children, and to the children in the community. I'm blessed that my children still remain here, lived, and my grandchildren as well. And I feel to give back is to show them a role model, a grandparent, a community person, to make this a better place to live.
I think it's important to be active in your community. I think it's important to give back. I think it's important to set an example for other people. I feel like when people take a stand and when people put themselves out there, I think it encourages people and it inspires other people to do the same.
My mother came up to me and she says, "Let me tell you something. If you earn your living in a community, you must give that back to that community. And if you have no money, you give time." It says when you have money, you give time and money, and never forget giving the time. And that's what totally motivated me. And it was lucky because my fiance now, Robin, is totally on board with the philanthropy I do. My wife, Rochelle, who passed away, 53 years marriage, was totally aboard, and close friends, Don and Betsy Brenner, totally supported the philanthropy that I did. And to me, that was most important. And so did all my friends. And if I needed something, you went up to them and you say, and I never got a no for an answer.
Standing up to me means making sure our firefighters are protected, making sure that we save our residents, or seeing mainly more of an injustice, something that is really not done properly. I think part of that is instilled. I'm a first-generation Holocaust of survivors.
You know, I can maybe help a little bit. And even if it's a little bit, if everybody helps a little bit and steps up a little bit, even if you open your mouth, even if you comment on something on Facebook, it might inspire somebody else to have some more understanding about what the issues are and then maybe stand up themselves. And I think if everybody could find empathy, I think so much flows from empathy. You know, whether it's financial, whether it's community service, whether it's, I think it all comes from empathy.
I believed to be involved in everything I could, whether I umpired in the Little League, whether I was on the board at JCC, whether I'm on the board of the foundation of the hospital, whether I'm in Rotary. It's standing up. It's doing what you can do. It's not sitting down, not letting other people do it. Don't give up on the communities. Don't step back. Don't allow yourself to become idle with what's going on. Be involved, stay involved, and don't give up.
Standing up means that you're going to be willing to put yourself out there by yourself, like with only your conviction to keep you company. And that's got to be enough. Once you're done with whatever that one thing is, and then you go back out there again, knowing that you're going to get kicked for it, that not everybody's going to like you, but that you'll still be willing to do it anyway.
JCC, what it means to me and what should mean to everyone in the community, it's a focal point, regardless of your religious affiliation. This is a community center, which is a vital part of here in the county. The reason it's very important to support the JCC in Rockland is because this is a voice, a place, and a voice that of concerns of the entire Jewish community, and as well as the rest of the community, we can come as and be together as an upstander and not be the bystander and be silent.
A safe space for people to go to. There's no judgment. It's a physical structure. It's a supportive atmosphere. I think as a hub of the community, I think it's just a lovely, comfortable, non-judgmental place to be that someone can go to.
It brings together the community. The JCC is a gathering place. It brings together your community. It brings together the kids. It brings together the seniors. It brings everybody together in one place.
The JCC, when I first came here, it was a gym, right? It was just like a big, cool building and a gym with lots of events and always tons of going-ons. I remember interrupting a Mahjong game. That was a really bad mistake in the senior center. That was a big mistake. But what it's become is something very, very different. In the beginning, when we were developing the Pride Center, it was really Dave Kirschtel and other members of the Jewish community who were like, what do you need to make this work? It's a very bold thing that your Pride folks are really trying to do. We support that. How can we make it bigger? Actually, without my family, I could not do this work. It's a family project. It's a family way of life. It is, I have two amazing children, Michael and Claire, that have taken our very heated and intense political discussions with colleagues and friends about what is right. And they've taken that, my son into his adulthood. And for my daughter, Claire, she is actively involved in multiple causes and organizations.
I'm proud of all three of my kids. I have two sons and a daughter, and together with my daughter, which I don't call my daughters-in-law, but and my son, not a son-in-law, all in their own way have given back in their quiet way. We try not to. I mean, I think you well know I don't look for the spotlight.
I have 3 girls that are now 22, 20, and 18. My oldest is out of college, and she's very much a social activist. She raises money for any number of people in need. I think all of my kids have been involved with their gay straight alliances in school, with their social justice clubs, with SETA through the Center for Safety and Change. I think that I hope to lead by example, that when people see people doing good, it inspires other people to do good.
The whole family was involved. I didn't just say, I'm doing this. They were there if I won an award. They were there when I gave something. They understood. Every once in a while, one of my sons would say, well, why'd you give it to them and not to me? And I would sit down and explain to them why, and they really learned it. Both of them now are philanthropic in the communities they live.
Congratulations and thank you to our deserving honorees. We are accustomed to saying next year in Jerusalem. I will settle for next year anywhere we can all be together. Even in these difficult and crazy times, the JCC is playing a critical role in our community, helping all those in need and strengthening our Rockland Jewish and greater community. Yes, we've had some success in fundraising, but it is going to take continued strong support to overcome the tremendous financial hit we took and are still taking this year. Your JCC needs your continued support to make sure it remains the outstanding agency our community needs. Stand up for the JCC so the JCC can continue to stand up for the community. Stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy the rest of your day.